Yeah.
Are you a Ghanaian or are you a Fanti?
I think I was born in Ghana.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
When I was 3 years old, then I left. So they billed me 180,000 euros because it's what I think 1.5 year program. Being a pilot
Yeah.
is really expensive. Yeah,
180,000
euros. This was 2019.
Wow.
2020. Yeah. Right? And I had literally a vivid dream of how to solve the problem. I woke up, I hit my brother, I said, dude, pass me the textbook right next to you and give me a pen. And he gives me the pen and I write down everything that I remember from my dream. And when I woke up in the morning, I applied that on my code. My goodness, you not believe it actually worked.
Yeah, hello. Welcome to Kweku Tech. Today on My Journey podcast, we have with us an AI researcher, someone who deals with natural language learning, those AI, ChatGPT creators, those things, right? Someone who can give us a bit of insight into such things. Today we have with us Jason Quist, and he's here with Kweku Tech. So welcome, Jason.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kweku.
I'm good.
You too. Where are you there? We there here. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so Mr. Jason, just to begin with, to get started, could you tell us what you do as an AI researcher? Something brief.
So, with AI research, I mainly deal with machine learning. Machine learning has three paradigms. You have unsupervised learning, supervised learning, and then reinforcement learning. So I deal with creating reasoning agents, reinforcement learning agents that can really think, reason, and predict the future of outcomes, and also work on optimization algorithms, like search optimization algorithms. That's what I usually work on. I also do a little bit of computer vision. I used to do some research at the University of Ghana in that domain as well. So that's what I basically do. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. Please, before we go there, okay. The name Jason Quist.
Yeah.
Are you a Ghanaian or are you a Fanti?
I think I was born in Ghana.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
When I was 3 years old, then I left. So
you left to.
I went somewhere. Well, okay, I went to Gambia. I lived in Gambia for some certain years, and then I also traveled to US, came back, and I've just been probably a nomad for some particular reason.
Okay.
I do travel quite a lot, extensively, and different things. Yeah.
Okay. So both your parents are from Ghana.
My mom is Ghanaian.
Okay.
She's Ghana. My dad is part Ghanaian, but also, my lineage really originates from Denmark.
Oh, okay.
You get what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So if you go back, the whole Quist lineage originates in Denmark. That would be a separate podcast if we're to go into that.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those who might think that I asked, are you a Ghanaian or a Fanti? You know, Fantis, they were the ones who get those kind of names.
European names.
That's why I said, are you a Ghanaian or a Fanti? Okay, so don't think I mistakenly say that. No, I intentionally say that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. You have a great background. But
Thank
why
you.
are you in Ghana?
I think I love Ghana.
Hey.
I do love Ghana.
Really?
Yeah, I really do.
What's nice about Ghana? What do you like about Ghana?
It's a very peaceful place. It's calm. I don't see any chaos happening. And it's a place to really relax your mind and really focus on certain things. And I think personally for me, I love Africa. I love helping people, and especially the younger ones and those in my age group, like just really getting on with technology, because I consider myself an AI evangelist for some sort. But that's what I basically do as well.
That's awesome. To hear AI evangelist reminds me of IoT evangelist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Joshua.
Joshua, exactly. So I think the message is spreading, and then we surely get Kuku. What evangelist? Community evangelist.
Yeah, I'm spreading the word for Ghana.
For community.
Amen.
Yeah. So hopefully we get a lot of evangelists in the AI space, as it's a growing aspect of tech. That's like the new gold mine for tech right now.
Yeah.
AI and then Web3.
Okay.
So hopefully we could get the support we need and then to push the agenda. So yeah, coming back to the machine learning AI stuff, right? So you
Hold on.
yeah.
He
So
didn't
you
tell
have
us
another
about-
question.
Yeah, he didn't tell us about his childhood, right? He
Well,
just said he grew
Yeah.
up and he went to
Uganda and then America,
So,
US.
how is education at Uganda compared to Ghana?
Well, not Uganda per se, but Gambia.
Gambia?
Gambia,
Yeah,
Yes,
Gambia.
Gambia. So, I think before the podcast you asked me about Gambia. I think Gambia is a very beautiful place. Previously, back in the years, it was, well, it's changed, obviously.
Okay.
But my educational background, or for me, I don't like to call it educational background. I call it schooling background because education and schooling are two different things.
Okay.
You know, you go to school, but you also could not be educated even though you pass through the traditional system.
I know what
Why
you are. This reminds
Yeah.
me of a famous quote from Asirun Ketiawa. Then we move. I don't want to put that out there, but then for you, how was the schooling system, or you have experienced that in Gambia and then in Ghana, or in the US too, right?
Gambia and Ghana.
Gambia and Ghana. Okay.
So it's I went to primary school,
Okay.
you know, so on, and I ended up in high school, and then afterwards I started college. But you know, throughout since I was 3 years old or 4, I wanted to be a pilot. So everything I did was dedicated towards that cause. And during the height of the pandemic, I still went away, applied to Airbus in Toulouse, France, because I knew I had to get in. And I studied my life out. I was training. I mean, I do fly a lot of advanced flight simulators and stuff. And I was pretty good at what I did. Theory, practical, and everything else. Then, well, they billed me 180,000 euros. Because it's what I think 1.5 year program. Being a pilot
Okay.
is really expensive. Yeah.
180,000
80,000 euros.
euros.
This was 2019.
Wow.
2020. Yeah.
Still massive.
Absolutely.
Because looking at I think I checked a couple of universities, and the average cost for education was, for what I saw, was around 20 to, like, the highest was like 45,000. So to have it at around 180,000 US dollars is like
That's
It's a
for
skyrocket.
The whole,
The whole program.
program.
for a year or 2 years.
1.5 years.
1.5.
Yeah, 18
Okay.
months.
That's
Wow,
that's
that's
crazy. That's crazy figures, because that could probably school like 3 or 4 people.
Even more. Exactly.
Wow.
But I think at the end of the day, I look back sometimes, I'm like, I actually could have been a pilot because I could have applied for some kind of loan. Because even folks that live in Europe, US, they cannot afford it. They have to apply for loan, and when they start working, they pay back. That's what they do. But I think it's been so good. He had a new future for me, so I'm going technology. But despite not having the funds at the time, and it was really, really challenging, one thing about me, I'm very stubborn. If I put my mind to something, you can move heaven and earth, I will not listen to you.
Wow.
You get it? So I had the vision, I had the passion. It was really deadly serious, and my brother was also there. He also loves aviation, and would do a lot of presentations during the pandemic. Every Friday, my brother and I would have presentations, like, just go on, use the week, do research work, and then give a presentation. We gave presentations on the history of aviation, different aircraft, fuel, like the nitty-gritties, like to the family, of course, because I mean it's locked down. And one of the most interesting presentations we did was on 9/11, because a lot of people do not know. They know what happened, but not the backstory of how everything happened. And we watched a lot of documentaries, did a lot of research, and I think that's where my research really started picking up.
Okay.
And I'm now seeing the benefits of those little research that we did. And it was really, really cool, my brother and I. Then I decided, okay, let me go to college, and then, just try and continue, because I had done IGCSE. So that's like, I think, equivalent to grade 12, if I'm not mistaken, because that's Form 4, Form 5, the
Okay.
British system.
Okay.
So that's what I did. And I started the college, that's like 2 years, AS level and A level. And at that time, too, my dad was like, maybe you should try considering something else. But I was very adamant. I didn't want to do that.
So what did you do in college?
I was offering science, so I was doing 3
Science,
subjects,
okay.
because in IGCSE AS level, you can choose maximum 4, I believe. Yeah, I was doing math, I was in geography, and I was doing, gosh, I've forgotten the other subject, but it was mainly towards being a pilot
Wow.
at that
Okay.
time.
You are really, really brilliant. Too.
Well, honestly speaking, I think high school was a very traumatic experience for me. That's one of the reasons why I personally did not like school. I really hated it. The first year it was pretty okay. The second year, it was really, really hell. Like, there were times where literally I would kind of like zone out, black out in class, and it was really, really bad. During examination, I was like panicking. Like, I thought I was gonna die on the examination table. Like, God, I was really, really shaking. But I went through it, and then I was like, okay, if this is the hell I have to go through to make it to the other side, then I'll do it. Because if this is standing between me and being a pilot, I would have to face my demons, so
Yeah.
to speak, and move on. But down the road, there was this coding class going on, and my dad linked me up with a guy. We signed up, he paid, and I started learning how to code HTML, CSS. I wrote my first lines of code on paper in 2019. I remember very well.
Oh,
Cheers
we
to the
still write
squad.
it here in Ghana. I don't think it has changed. The universities in Ghana, examination, they ask them to write code
I-
on paper.
I think there are two approaches to that problem. Writing code on paper is, for me personally, I think it really makes me think beyond the code. Because in your text editors, without autocomplete as well, I can do a lot of things. But when I write on paper, I give a typical example. I was building a project, right? And then I was having a very serious issue, a series of issues. I slept that night, and I had literally a vivid dream of how to solve the problem. I woke up, I hit my brother, I said, dude, pass me the textbook right next to you and give me a pen. And he gives me the pen, and I write down everything that I remember from my dream. And when I woke up in the morning, I applied that on my code. My goodness, you not believe it actually worked.
Wow.
So those are some of the crazy things.
So
yeah,
I
man.
think it's one of the things that usually happen. I don't know. There is a saying that what we see on our eyes is what we take to the dream, right? It's a
Yeah.
cheap proverb, but then it seems like it really has an effect
Yeah.
on programmers.
Subconscious.
If you think about it really hard, you might have that experience where you sleep. But I'm sure there are a lot of viewers who have that experience, because I have had that experience, but then
Oh yeah.
unlike you, mine didn't work, so I don't know which spirit I consulted during the sleep, but
Yeah,
they
probably.
didn't really help out. Yeah, but then it's a good experience
Yeah.
to at least like things work out like when you really think about them. I don't know if we practically know the solution, but then are too stressed to implement it, or I don't know really. Maybe that's another research, but then,
I
yeah.
think it's important to take breaks. I think it's important.
Yeah. So let's not divert. Right?
Yeah.
You school in? You said Uganda.
No, Gambia and
Gambia.
and Ghana.
Hey,
You keep
why
confusing the
Uganda? I don't know
two.
why.
I think you have to go to your
Yeah.
I think so.
So
Yeah,
So which you went to college in
here.
here?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
which college?
actually, here's the issue. No, not the issue, but here's the interesting part: is that I started college, and you can pretty much, you don't have to be part of a school per se,
Yeah.
but you can just start with an attachment, something like that.
Yeah.
So I started, and at that time I'd also started coding, HTML, because I was
Yeah.
like, let me just do this and then go on to do my PPL. That's my private pilot's license, the first stage in becoming a pilot, and just in case, to support myself in all other areas. I started coding, and then it's like I fell in the black hole. I loved it so much, and I would go to class, and then I would leave class, take my laptop, and go and start coding. I was not paying attention in class anymore. After 1.5 months, I came home. I said, Dad, I'm dropping out. And he's like, all right, great, let's go. What do we do? What's the plan? So,
Your dad agree.
absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, he knew the schooling system was a bit, so
So which year did you?
that was in 2020.
2020. That's when you came back to Ghana.
I came in 2017-ish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thereabout.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I experienced the entire pandemic here in Ghana.
Uh,
Very great.
Wow. So which of your parents were in this?
Gambia, not to
Gambia.
see Uganda.
almost said Uganda. The whole family was there, pretty
Oh, okay.
much.
So
Yeah.
you all moved back to Ghana in 2017.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, originally my mom is Ghanaian, and
Okay.
so
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Your dad really did well. If
Yeah.
it was to be some fathers, because they've paid
Once
fees
school
for,
fees is paid.
to that particular
They will not be
program,
happy.
they will not allow you. You have to finish it because they asked
Yeah.
you to change it before. You said no.
Mhm.
You want to pursue it and
Yeah.
later come back to them
Mhm.
to tell them.
Yeah.
And I realized that that was the first time in my life where I really felt happy and fulfilled because I could sit down and code for not like I knew what I was doing, but I just loved it so well. I was concentrating for about 12 hours straight. I was in my room about 18 hours. I came out to the living room and then I drink water. I was like, hey, mom, hey, dad. And then I'm walking back and my dad says, he has got what he really wants to do because he's never been this focused for a very long time.
Yeah.
Like he really got it.
Then that's good. That's good. I think your tutor was very good.
Yeah, he did well.
Yeah.
His Mr. Chris. Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I
Was
call him.
he from your university, your college, or
No, totally different.
Oh,
Totally different. Yeah.
personal-
He worked at a bank, I believe, and he had other. He's a senior engineer.
Oh, okay.
He's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
good. So that was when you fell in love with coding.
Yeah, I think coding fell in love with me as well.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So at that time, what were you doing? Like, were you good into the software engineering aspect? Or
Web application,
Web
no. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and
Okay.
Python.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
right. And I was also using Linux at the time, so
Yeah.
I was trying to get myself around Linux commands and all that stuff. But honestly, I didn't really know what I was doing at that point because I'm just now new in the tech field, and I'm exploring, and it's really, really interesting. But I'm just enjoying the flow,
Okay.
and
So-
I'm not worried about dropping out of school. I dropped out of school as well. I was not worried at all.
So you were still schooling at that time?
No, I dropped out.
Okay.
I dropped out of college.
So after dropping out, you focused on your. I think you were talking about the LLP certification or something.
Well, 2020, I spent, 2022, I spent a lot of time just like, exploring. And that was the time I went to PyCon.
Okay.
And I went to my first Dev Fest as well here in Ghana.
Okay.
And it was really, really amazing. Look at the tech ecosystem, different people, exploring, learning, my mind opening up, talking to people. And it was really, really good.
So at that time, were you working within a company, or you just drop out from school and you were just doing your things?
4
Yeah.
months after I started coding and I had dropped out of school, I got my first internship at an AI company. And it was really, really amazing. I learned a lot of things. We built a system for a very massive oil company, and it was really, really cool.
Wait, I'm confused. I'm confused. So here's the thing, right? You got an internship in an AI firm
Yeah, in an AI company.
with web development.
No, I was it's more of like systems kind of stuff, system
Okay,
engineering.
so
Yeah.
maintaining of systems, like because of the Linux stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I use a little bit of Linux, but then there's already a pre-built system that I just kind of manage, put some little plugins here and there, and just roll things out.
Okay.
with that.
Oh.
I have
Okay.
a question about that. Too.
Yeah.
You didn't complete college,
No,
right?
no.
So which certificate did you use to apply for the internship?
Oh no, I knew the person and he knew me, and then we
Yeah.
just like went along.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Good to know people in high places again.
It was pretty easy.
Okay.
Yeah, that kind
So
of.
now we
plays
can
out.
continue. Right? So,
Yeah.
so that's when you got to know about AI
Yeah.
during the
No,
time you were in the company.
no, I didn't really. I knew about AI a little bit, but not as deeply as I did subsequently.
That's how 2022. Was it the time that ChatGPT started making waves? Or
2023,
to-
yeah, 2022, ending of 2022.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
when, like October, November, thereabout. That's when it
Wow.
happened.
So if you're able to know this before that time, then it means
I
you're
think-
really serious about research.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I don't think, because I was extremely passionate about aviation, and then it just like switched to now technology. So there was a lot of things I did not know. Honestly, I wouldn't say I knew a lot of things, but I knew that the end goal is going to be very great. I knew the kind of person I kind of was, and the person I had to be. When I started technology, I was like, you know what? No more partying, no more. I had to quit a lot of things, sacrifice a lot of things, because I'm like, this is my life now. I have to really, really get out there and go all in. I didn't like the mediocrity and the low level life and stuff like that. So I'm like, I have to sacrifice a lot. If my friends are going to tell me, hey, you're weird, you're this and that, I think that's okay. But it's a sacrifice that I had to make and really get the best to break my old self, rebuild myself into the person that I wanted to be. And it's a continuous thing.
Wow.
That's very inspiring. You know.
Very, 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 very. Don't say. So, from 2022,
Mm-hmm.
after you attended a PyCon conference and things, what have you been doing up to now in the ecosystem? Have you tried going back to college since
Well, I'm the kind of person that I never look back, even if I make the wrong decision. But I think that was the best decision I ever made, and I kind of like reverse engineer my way around the entire career path of mine. And if you told me that I would be into AI, I would not have believed because I was still exploring. I took an ALX course, the software engineering course, in 2023.
Okay.
I recently graduated. We're about 90K to 100K, I believe, and only 321 of us graduated. So like that's like 0.03%, I believe, or 0.3%. And it was real difficult. I think I had 5 massive mental breakdowns in that time, but that defined everything that happened because it was in 3 sprints, and then the foundations, and you have the specialization. Foundations is 3 sprints. That's 3 months each. That's 369, and then the foundations, the specialization, you can choose front end or back end. I chose back end. The first 3 months we learned C, and then I passed. The next 3 we learned Python, going on, and all that. And then the other one was like DevOps systems engineering. That was where all hell broke loose.
Wow.
So we had the 3 months. We set up our service, AWS service, and everything is going from scratch. And I promise you, ChatGPT is not going to help you at that point because I set up my server, my CI/CD pipelines, and my everything else to host my application that we had built previously in other months. And we wrote some scripts, automation scripts, because I didn't want like the habit of doing everything manually all the time. So I run the script, it sets it up, it spins everything, all my instances are great, and I'm good to go.
Wow.
So something happened.
Python script or Bash script?
Both Python and Bash.
Wow.
So I realized something very interesting. I was like, at that time, I think it already existed, but I didn't know. So I had to force and do it manually. And when I did it, I thought I did something new, not knowing it was already existing. But I wrote a script in C, and then I had compiled it into Python so that it would run a bit more faster. So I didn't know at the time that it exists. I know Python existed because under the interpreter, that's what happens. But I didn't know that what I did was actually a thing. I could have copied the script, but I did it on my own. So I felt really happy about what I did. I felt really happy. So towards the end, all hell broke loose when one day I look at my AWS instance and like everything is gone. I'm like, yo, everything just disappeared. Like the server crashed, the AWS container was like not working, and I email several emails, frustrating emails like, look, I'm a student. This is not working. I cannot do months of work all over again. Like, I'm sorry, we're going to help you. And I realized that I was not the only one. A lot of people were also, there was this lady that she also had that issue. I mean, if you're listening to this, like my heart goes out to you because it was really, really depressing. So nothing was happening. Then I decided that, okay, you know what? No one is going to help me. Even if AWS themselves come, they're not going to be able to revive anything. How do we go on forward? I had to literally calm myself down and just work on it. I recovered. I did everything from scratch. The web application, the database, every single thing in about 4 days.
All over again.
All over again.
Wasn't the code on GitHub or wasn't...
It wasn't. I have no idea why I didn't do that.
Why not?
Wow.
But you see, the code is one thing, but in the process of setting up a server, and I was new to that. So I had to go back and really do every single step from scratch all over. And
something that you did like using like format or...
And I had to do that in 4 days.
Wow.
I don't know how. I just prayed one day. I was like, God, you please help me out here. And it just like happened. But I really got real mental fatigue from those 4 days. And I was like out for like 2 weeks. I was completely gone. But it was a great experience. Really great.
Yeah. Congratulations for completing the ALX course.
Yeah.
I don't know how you did it, but because I myself have tried a couple of things a couple of times, and I did machine learning, the linear regression matrices, using Octave and all those things. But I ended up after 4 weeks being stressed and broken down, and I decided that wasn't for me. So
The AWS itself is stressful.
it's
The
stressful.
course
Yeah.
itself, a lot of people apply. You hear a lot of people applying, but along the way, most of them just sign
Mhm.
out.
But I think community is also good because I created a group when we started. I created a group, like a Telegram group. I was like really fire. We were close to about 1,000 people. I was also in another group of about 5,000 people on Telegram
Okay.
working. Before you realize, like everybody's just gone. Like what? Where did everyone go?
Everywhere.
But I had a group of Kenyans. I remember Terry, Mesfin, and the rest of the Gina and the rest. Like we're like I think about 20 of us or so, or 15, and we all like were really really working. We had a community, and it's very important because we had a Telegram group. I created a Telegram group. We were over 700 people, and there was another group I was on. About 5,000 people were on there. But towards the end, like everything, everywhere, everyone was gone. Like you're wondering where did everybody go? Like you're working, and then all of a sudden, like everybody just kept dropping off, bam, 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 like that, and like whoa. So I was fortunate. I was with a group of Kenyans, right? Because it's obviously it's a virtual program,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I was the only one in Ghana. The rest of them were in Kenya. You have Terry, you have Gina, you have Mesh. All of them really, we all graduated.
Okay.
So that whole collaboration really kept us going because one of us would have dropped out by all means. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But the lead, Mesh, he did a great job. He really every project, or even before every project and after every project, he would explain this is what needs to be done. This
Okay.
is what they're talking about. And he told me it was like most of the sessions that he led, he did not know what he was doing, but he had to go and research for the team because he felt the responsibility to help us, and that really, really made a massive difference. People drop out because they don't have those kind of things, collaborative. And I think I also had it right, and my environment too was good. My cousin really helped me. He owns this firm, Trainor consulting firm, and he gave me the office space for that whole year. It's like, yo,
Okay.
use it. Wi-Fi is there at 200 megabits per second. And I have a laptop, everything. I'm like, so I think, fortunately, thank God I was like, at a,
Everything
Sorted.
was-
yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
sorted.
very much
Okay,
sorted
okay.
out.
I think that can be also a factor because data can be a factor for a lot of people.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Because they can be on the course throughout the day and
Mhm.
maybe they might drop off and when they come back again,
Yeah,
things have been learned behind them,
exactly.
so they just have to drop off.
Mhm.
So looking at your profile, right? You
Yeah.
are now a researcher at University of Ghana.
Well, yeah, I was doing some research at the University of Ghana, but now I think I'm ready for another opportunity.
Wow. Were
Yeah.
you an intern there or you were
Oh no, so my community is a deep learning in Daba, right?
okay?
And I went in February, the Studentpreneur conference, right?
Okay.
And then I met this lady of mine, Aisha Badmus. She introduced me to the professor at the computer science department working on this thing. And it took a while before I reached back to him. But in April, I went to ATU for Google I/O Extended.
Yeah.
No, not I/O. One of
Build
the I
with-
think I/O or
build with
something.
AI, okay.
Build with AI, exactly. So at ATU, my boy Julius Boachi was there, and then that Saturday I just took a pit stop at the university, and I went to him. I was like, "Hey, yo, I think I'm ready to start." Monday, I come in, I start work, and it's really, really amazing. We're doing some computer vision stuff. I can't go into details, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
computer vision research, and we're doing very, very great stuff together. And it was really one of the best defining moments of my life. The previous year, I went to the Deep Learning in Daba conference at the University of Ghana, and I met OpenAI, Google DeepMind, NVIDIA. It was really massive. And I met this lady, her name is Ariane Shimirwa. Honestly, she's like really, really impacted me so much. And like, she is the one person I believe that really, I think she broke my ego, so to speak, like my tech ego,
Yeah.
because she told me her story. She really helped me get to a lot of places. She was really a sister to me, and I was like, she's doing crazy things. She's very young, and she's doing mad things. I'm like, whoa, how do you do that? You have a master's in data science. Currently, she's in Canada working. I'm like, amazing. She's doing powerful things. So when I see things like that, I see 18-year-olds, I see 20-year-olds. I'm like, whoa, that's so cool. So I can do the same. So subconsciously, it just unlocked something huge, and I just went all heaven broke loose this time around.
But how did you get in touch with the Indabax people? Was it the Ghana chapter or you got
The main one,
Wow.
the deep learning in that. So that one, I think that was an act of God because I know a particular great brother of mine, and he knows I'm into technology, trying to get myself up to speed, and then he just makes a phone call. The very next minute, I get an email or a message by I think Michael or Manny, and then the volunteers form is about to close in 24 hours. And I'm like, I didn't know what was going on in the back end, how I got that email. But I received an email volunteering at Deep Learning in Dava. I mean, what's this? And I'm at home coding. And then I'm like, what's this? What's this? And I overlook it. And then something's like, go and look at that email. A few hours later, I go and look at the email. I scroll to the webpage. I see OpenAI as a sponsor in video. I'm like, yo, let's do this. I apply. I get accepted. Dorothy interviews me with Manny and the rest of them. I get in, and that was the most game-changing thing of my life. A few months after that, I wrote a paper, my very first paper.
Okay, published it on...
Not published. Now, here's an interesting thing. That paper I wrote first is what I'm currently building upon right now. You know, research is not just about, it takes time sometimes, you know.
The research on piloting or...
No, on reinforcement.
On reinforcement, okay.
Advanced agentic reasoning. Yeah.
So when should we expect it, or it's still in the works?
I was going to publish at NeurIPS this year, but I missed the deadline. I did a poster presentation at the Indaba X in July in Kumasi, and it was really good. The Google guys kind of looked at it and were like, oh, this is really impressive work. And I believe I'm going to there's a lot of interesting stuff that were happening. So I'm updating the paper. I've just been all over the place of like traveling here and there, but I think now I'm a bit settled for about a week. So I'm just going to work on it, and then, you know, I should publish it through IEEE this year.
So I think we are drawing close to like the end of, but then I would like you to share some of the key points you think if someone wants to get into machine learning, AI, or someone wants to get into tech, right, as you did yourself, what are some of the key takeaways you think it's inescapable, like you need to embrace this reality to make it in the tech industry?
In technology, okay, everyone's background is very different. For me, I would say you just need to be passionate about what you do. Passion beats everything. But also, you can have passionate fools. So you have to be... Somebody asked me once, what keeps you up like 22 hours a night working on this stuff and just being so fire about it and so passionate? I said, the same way computers run on CPU, I also have a CPU. Curiosity, passion, and a sense of urgency. You can be passionate about something, a bit curious about it, but you can later on, when the motivation is not there, you just dwindle down. But when you add urgency to it, and it's like, you have to do this now, you can achieve anything. It's like you're thirsty and you're tired, but there's a line behind you. You got to run to that water. So I believe if you're passionate about it and you have the interest in technology, technology is a broad field. So, and I mean, you can take your with a pinch of salt, but technology is a broad field, and I think it's best to go wide than go deep. That's what I was advised, but by Dr. Stanley Chai, I think, who works at Snapchat now. And you explore web application, what's the mobile application. You don't have to necessarily maybe do it, but you can research what is the entire paradigm. You have systems administration, but once you find something that you like, you go into it. For example, AI. AI is very broad. You have machine learning, you have deep learning, you have reinforcement learning. There's so many other paradigms into it. And under deep learning, you have, computer vision, natural language processing, and all these things. So you choose your domain, choose what you're passionate about, and then just keep exploring there. So you get narrowing down and trying coding, this and that, and you keep going. Now, you see a lot of 10x engineers out there like, how does this guy know how to code? For me, what I do is very simple. You need to build muscle memory. The same way you play a keyboard, you need to build muscle memory. So I would write a script or a particular program and delete it, the code, write it all over again. Just practice. Not just to memorize the code, but understand what each part of the code is doing. I'm the kind of person that I need to know exactly what's going on. So it may be a bit crazy, but when I get an error message, like a kernel error message, sometimes I can just like rip apart the entire, like go into the kernel itself and see exactly what's going on. So once I was having some errors with compiling my code, and I was like, what's going on in this thing? So I went to the documentation of the compiler itself, and I had to read things that did not concern me. Like, read. It's like you have a heart problem, and you just go and open your heart and like, what is going on in this place? So I just like to know everything. Nothing should escape me, so that in the future, when I know what's happening, I know that, oh, this part of the kernel is probably broken. Something like this is going on. So practice code all the time, but be passionate about it, love it, and have fun. Don't think about the money. Don't think about it. I mean, money is very rewarding in the end, like the whole thing, but just have fun in the process. And while you're having fun and you're meeting new people, you're like having collaborations and different things, you see that it gets even more easy along the way. Yeah.
Thank
But-
you very much.
thank
This
you
is
very
really,
much.
really massive.
Yeah.
And before maybe we end
Sure,
this
go ahead.
conversation, are there any materials out there, like learning materials, that you can recommend for people who are now getting into machine learning? Maybe to also try looking at before they.
Absolutely. You know, I created at the beginning of the year like an AI engineering roadmap. I recently revised it and I shared it with the Indaba community. But if you follow me on GitHub at Feel the AGI, that's Feel the AGI, and you would see a deep intelligence toolkit. So the deep intelligence toolkit takes you from Python. My recommended course by Google on Coursera, it takes you from 0 to intermediate, but by the time you're done with that course, it's very short. It's 32 hours. If you spend 2 hours a day, but if you spend more, you can finish it probably a day. And it's really good. Then it takes you to math, then your normal machine learning, different stuff. But it doesn't give you like just a high level overview. You know, you go in detail what to do, but it's also very, very fun. So you can check it out. And my mentor, Ilya Sutskever, I also add 30 of his recommended research papers, and just go on, have fun with it. It's great. It's hard. Everything is hard, but you choose your hard and then you just go on with it.
Listening to the mathematics aspect of it,
Yeah.
I tell you, I saw matrices and ran away.
But I had to reverse engineer my way because I'm not the best at math. So what I did was going from software engineering to a bit of AI engineering, then AI research. I did not really know a lot of the logistic regression and tensors and all those things. But then when I write code and it's having some issues or it just maybe works, I would now go on to ChatGPT and probably paste the code and I'm like, okay, what's going on inside this thing? Then I will learn. So ChatGPT is more of like my best friend. And I learned one time I was so excited and I was writing like so when you pass an image through the neural network, the neural network processes numbers. It doesn't process actual things. So I was literally writing all the tensor, the matrices, the transformations, the multiplication, doing all that math by hand in my book, and just to understand how it works. So now I understand the general term of what a matrix is, how it works in math, but applying it is the thing. You get it?
Most of the things you said, exactly. Most of the things went over my head. I think after this show, I would have to get some water to wash my.
But you can do it. I believe anyone.
This is one of my best conversations I've had on my journey so far. Like a lot of things have been said, and a lot of things. Like you are really curious, but because if you are not curious, you can't go as far as this to become just an AI researcher. Charlie, it really involves a lot. Thank you.
It's difficult too because I don't have a PhD. Right? I don't even have a bachelor's degree. So when I talk to some of the guys, it's like, you've done very good work, but my guy, you don't have that paper to back you up. So those are some of the challenges in the field. So you asked me at the beginning, am I going back to school? And I'm like, I have experienced a lot over the 5 years. And sorry, I forgot to mention, I was also doing freelance alongside as well. So software engineering, I've been doing it even before ALX, way before ALX. So I'm really, really good at it. And right now, I'm just like, hey, maybe I can go back to school and do something. You get what I mean?
Because in your field, I think the certificate is really necessary. Not like the software engineering where they just need it to work. In your field, you need your masters.
That's right. And PhDs.
PhDs and those things to be able to get that kind of backing and verification to go on in the industry. So I think that's one aspect that you have to look at.
I would for sure.
Yeah, so I think I have 2 questions and then I'll close, right? Just 2 simple questions. Machine learning you are using Python for machine learning, right?
Absolutely.
What are the other options that could probably, because I think Ruby on Rails also has something on machine learning, if I'm not mistaken. And why Python? Why not the other languages?
Python is a very versatile framework. There's also Java, but Python is very easy.
Java for machine learning. Wait, Java for machine learning.
Yeah, you can use Java as well.
With software, I've seen enough people with Java.
Java,
So I would for machine learning, I would come to you for some. Maybe I would look through your roadmap, but then please don't help. I don't know how strong our viewers is, but then they can try and then tell us. But me, I won't.
Yeah, you can. I write C++ as well, especially for my, sometimes GPU manipulation and all that stuff. So I have to write C++ code, C code as well for certain things, and Bash script. I mean, I've been using Linux and Python for 6 years now, so it's been an interesting journey. But my framework I use is PyTorch. I don't use TensorFlow. I think TensorFlow has some little bit issues in certain areas, but when I'm coding, when I'm building, I want full control over what I'm doing. That's why I don't use Windows. But randomly, I started using Windows because I was in the contract work and I didn't have Microsoft Word, so I had to use Windows. So that was a crazy thing. But Linux, Python, C++, Bash, those are my 4 strongest areas. So I rock in that area.
Okay, I think after talking about Java, I think I forgot my last question, so I'll just share what I have with my viewers. And then, so from this conversation, I think we've learned quite a lot. You have to be curious, passionate, and then add a bit of urgency to your journey, right? So you could get there faster. Don't give up. If you feel you are in the wrong place, it's not too late to switch.
So LinkedIn at Jason Quist, that's Quist, and you can follow me. I'm not really heavy on X, but you can follow me reinforced_RL, and you can look at my GitHub, and it's FieldAGI.
Okay, we'll take the links and share with you. See you in the next episode.